Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another Thursday night. I have to be honest, this week seemed to drag for some reason. It was a busy one. And before we get started, I want to thank everybody for all the wonderful messages and congratulations on the grandbaby. It is actually grandbaby number 6 for me. But it was a big surprise because Emma was not due until November 5th. She was 5 pounds 11 ounces. So I'm not sure if she is actually a preemie. Clinically, she is because of her due date, but they are home. They came home today. So thank you again. So before we get started, I don't really have too many announcements. There is a new Create With Us PDF with 15 tutorials. And that I will give away for free for anyone who orders in the month of October. I didn't print out, but it uses the Penguin Place. And also for placing an order, you'll get a swag bag, and it comes with foam and double-sided tape, a craft eraser, some mulberry paper flowers and ribbon, and half a pack of designer series paper. And that's my thank you gift to you for placing an order with me. And for sharing the video last week. Hello, Kathy. How are you, honey? The winner is Karen Dixon. Karen, I have your address, so no worries, but you'll be getting the Feels Like Home stamp set. So congratulations. So tonight, talking of sharing, whoever shares the video this week, let's see what I have here. You will get the Delicate Dahlias. So this will be the stamp set this week for sharing the video, the Delicate Dahlias. So tonight we're working on Halloween cards. And I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, Peggy. I usually don't really do Halloween cards. But I just thought this Frightfully Cute stamp set was just the cutest, and I wanted to use it. Plus, and I didn't even put my dies on a magnetic sheet yet, but the dies for this set are cute too. It's got the cute little tree. I love the spider web. So it has cute little things that we can create with. And I also utilized the black glitter paper. This I love. Hi, Margaret. Thank you so much. She's so cute. They did come home today, like I said in the beginning. They are now home. So we'll see how Mama and Baby do. Thank you so much, Peggy. So let's get started. I think what we'll do is I'll start with this card. And I blended the background, so it's just layers of basic black, old olive. The DSP is actually the cute Halloween 6x6 pack that you can get in the from the mini catalog. And then the black glitter paper, the glittered ribbon, and then all I did for the inside was added some spiders coming down and the DSP. So let's get started. I hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, life has been crazy here in all aspects. So I was so happy that it was Thursday so I could just sit and relax and talk to everybody. I'm starting with basic black, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then I am going to add, you know me and my layers, a layer of Old Olive, and this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And I will have the PDF posted in the group tomorrow. I'm not sure. I did write on my blog post that it would be there by 12. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it exactly at 12. So if I don't, hello, hello. Hey, Karen. Oh, okay. So you popped in quick. You were the winner for sharing last week's video. So congratulations, Karen. Thank you, Elizabeth. The baby is home. So we'll see how she makes out, how mama and baby make out for the first night at home. Okay. So like I said, I'm not sure if I'll get it there by noon. I forgot that we have a telephone appointment with my husband's endocrinologist tomorrow. So it may be a little later than noon tomorrow that I share the PDF. Now I'm using a piece of the DSP. There's one side, which is pretty cute, but I like the stripes. And this is 5 1/4 by 4. Now tonight I'm taking a chance and I'm using the seal. So hopefully I'll be able to get these layers on straight. There are some days that I can't do it, which is so funny. Yes, seriously, seriously. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, so there are the 3 layers. Then I am going to I took the basic black and I die cut it with the scallop contour dies. And we are just going to take this, and before I do anything, I'm going to pop it right up onto the front of the card. Now I have to admit, it's so funny. As you see, I do have a bow on this card, and it's the glittered organdy, black glittered organdy ribbon. I wasn't going to put a ribbon on this card. I was going to leave it plain. But what happened was I blended the background, I added my spiders, I added the cat, and then I glued it down onto the scalloped frame. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I don't think Emma's here tonight. They came home today, and I think she's a little pooped. She just doesn't know. So I had forgotten or didn't even think about adding a sentiment. So I did it while it was on the front of my card, and I took one sheet of dimensionals in the package and stuck it up under so I could stamp the sentiment, and it worked pretty good until, if you can see that little black line, I just rocked that stamp and hit a black line, and I figured, okay, I guess I need a ribbon now to hide that, and that's why I added a ribbon. So, confessions. Okay. So, that just goes to show, if you make a mistake, there's always a way to hide it instead of trashing your whole card. That's why I always say, that's why pencils have erasers. That's why there's 2 sides to every sheet of paper. Mistakes happen. And instead of, feeling bad and really condemning what you've done, just do something to fix it. Life is too short to worry about it. Okay, so now I cut out a piece of basic white so it'll fit inside these little stitch dots on the frame. And it actually measures 2.5 by 3 3/4. Thanks, Kathy. And I am going to grab a blender brush, and I'm going to use Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, and Night of Navy. Let me see, it's where it is. It's stuck. So I got my 3 colors. Now my brush, as you can see, I haven't washed it. It's just layered. And I did use blue. So you do really want to start with the lightest color that you're going to blend with. And just take your brush. I usually put my finger on the brush, but it's better to keep a hold of the handle and get some get some ink on that brush, start off your paper, and then blend. Now, the one thing with blending, with the blending brushes, you don't want to really press hard. You want to go very lightly on your paper and just build the color up instead of trying to create the color all at once. So you'll just keep adding layer upon layer until you get the color that you desire on your piece of paper. You can go in circles, you can go back and forth. I'm doing a sky, that's why I'm doing it in circles, because if you look at the sky, it's not a solid color. So I'm going to leave that like that right now. Oh, you're on the way back from the eye doctor. Well, please have a safe trip. So now I'm going to grab that Pacific Point, and I'm using the same exact brush, and I'm going to do the same exact thing, but I want to do over top and underneath. And again, you're going to start off the page. You want to go over the edge and just bring it up. And we just want to blend these colors so you don't really have like a dark color, the darker blue here, and then the light color. You want the colors to blend together as best you can. So you're going to overlap them. And that's what I'm going to do right now. And we'll go back with the Balmy Blue. But I just wanted to get some color laid down. I'm just going to keep adding a little bit of color. And like I said, you want to make sure you leave the page, come onto your paper and start off. I have to admit, though, you can't see it. I'll move my camera just for a minute. But if you'll notice, right here, I actually have a glass board. It's a Tonic Studios glass mat. And that is actually the best way to blend, is on a glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, and I'm not really too sure where I tucked mine away, but if you use your silicone mat, that will actually also be very good to blend your colors, because the brush has a tendency to lag on the paper. And if you do it on glass or the silicone, the ink that builds up on the silicone, you can pull it onto your paper. So that is what I would actually suggest. I'm not using the black mat only because it will interfere, the lighting, the glare will interfere with the camera. So that's really why I'm not using the glass mat as while I do this tonight. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's just get here to the bottom, and we're going to just add some of this color, and then we're going to go back and start over. Okay, so now that we have our base color, just clean that brush a little bit. I'm going to go back to my Balmy Blue, and I want to get a good amount on there because we just used a very dark color. So we're just going to go across this center here, just darken that up a little bit. Blend it into that Pacific Point. And then I'm just going to grab the Pacific Point. And like I said, you're going to go back and forth depending on the color, you know, the depth of color that you want. You're just going to keep layering the color on. So I'm just going to add some more color up to blend these two. And bring it down into the Balmy Blue. And then I'm just going to grab this down here. Come around the edge a little bit. And just blend that right to the bottom. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Oh, I used Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, and Night of Navy. Those are the three colors I chose. Okay, so now that we have our this layer done, we're going to make sure that tonight we do the sentiment before I put it together. So I already did my die cuts, and I have my sparkly paper for my spider web. Let me just let me see where they are. I don't know what I did with them. And would you believe I didn't even bring paper towels in tonight? How crazy is that? I guess the head isn't screwed on properly. Ah, here they are. Let me just get this ink off my hand. You know me when it comes to ink. I seem to get it all over the place. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I have my die cut, and then the rest of it is all stamped. And I'm using Memento. Let me just grab it. Here it is. I'm using my Memento. And I have my little spider. You're very welcome, Kathy. Just wipe off my block. Okay. And then I'm also going to use the little cat. Let's see, will he fit on this block? Yes, he will. So we got the little cat. And then we're going to put You're So Sweet, It's Scary. So we got that. And I'm going to put that one actually on my lined block. This way I can at least try to get it straight. Okay, now I didn't measure or mark. I just actually stamped my spiders and then moved the spider web around to try to hit the lines of the spider. I figured I could be here all day if I wanted to really make sure. And if you notice, you really can't see the tops of these spiders. I actually did get them hidden under the spider web. So that's all I'm going to do today. I am going to, we know that the spider web is going to be about here. So we want our spiders to be down here along the center. So we'll start one right about here. And then we'll move one down a little bit. And this one we'll add up here a little bit. Okay, so there are our spiders. Let's grab our little cat, and we're going to put this cat right here in the corner so he's looking at the spiders. And I have to be careful not to rock. I have a tendency to rock my block. Now you'll notice I didn't use my Stamparatus, so I cannot restamp it. And you'll notice that the cat isn't solid black, and neither is this spider. And what I usually do is grab my Stampin' Write marker, and this is black, the basic black, and all I'm going to do is just fill in where the stamp pad, where I missed with the stamp pad. So we're just going to fill it in, cover it up, just to get rid of that white so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And once that dries, you'll never know that I misstamped. Okay? So now, let's see if we can get this lined up. I want it to be off the page. And actually, it worked out pretty well. They're going to be lined up pretty good. So let's grab some glue. I have 4 of them open, so maybe we can find one. I hear ya. I hear that, Peggy. I mean, I don't like spiders at all, but these are cute. So it's just funny what you will and will not put up with, isn't it? There's some wicked bugs around. I'm not a bug person. I do not like them. I'm the type of person where if I am outside and a bug flies in my face or lands on me, I squirm and scream. I do not like bugs, and I never have. It's so funny. My husband always made fun of me when we used to work on our farm. He used to just make fun of me all the time. Okay, so we're just going to go back, and I am going to try to line up the ends of my spiders to the web. And that looks pretty good. It's just hiding the ends of those spiders. And then I'm going to grab my sentiment. Make sure I really get it inked up. And I think I have it on here pretty straight. Now I'm going to stand up so I can line up my line. And that's not too bad. It's a little crooked, I think. Not bad. Okay. So now let's pick this up, and we're going to glue this right to the front of the card. Right on top of our scallop. And I want to just make sure I'm gluing this one because I want to make sure I have it pretty centered on these stitches on this frame. And it's not, it's just a little off. So let's get that. Okay. And then I am going to grab, this time I'm going to leave the bow off tonight's card because I really do like it without the bow. Let's cover up this memento before we make a mess. Grab my little pokey tool, and we're going to use some black matte black dots, and I use one of the big ones. And I'm just going to stick it right here in the corner. So there's the front of the card. Now for the inside of the card, I have my Old Olive, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. My basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to grab that spider again, and let's ink it up. And we're just going to put some spiders right across the top of this page. And hopefully get this silk that this spider is hanging from pretty straight. Not too bad. Close that up. Let's get rid of this brush for a minute. And again, I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Write marker. This little guy here is a little lighter. I always get nervous stamping with black ink because you can see I did it again. Now I'm going to grab my Designer Series paper. And I'm going to add this to the bottom. Now to make sure it is on here straight, I'm just going to hold it up and push that Designer Series paper, and then hold it this way and push it down to the bottom so I know it's lined up. And then I'm just going to take a piece of the basic black, add some glue, and I'm going to add it right across the top of that Designer Series paper. And I'm actually going to do the same thing. If you know the edge of your black is straight, then once you push it down to get it to the edge, it'll line up pretty well on your design, on your paper. And then let's just trim it off. Now the reason I am not going to restamp these spiders because of this little mark here. I actually, if I do make a mistake, you can't use like a blender pen. You can't use the Whisper White Stampin' Up. It bleeds through. I use a painter's gouache, and I go and touch it up before I send it. It just takes that black smudge away. So that's why I don't correct it, because I correct it before I send it out. I cheat a little bit. So I'll just take paint, my a certain paint that you would use for coloring with Copics, and I just cover that spot up. Okay, so there is our first card. And I hope you like it. I just think these little stamps and die cuts are so cute. Yes, I did get your order, Karen. Thank you so much. I will get your PDF in the mail and your swag bag in the mail. Okay, so now card number 2. Sticking with the green, I know the background, it doesn't have any green in it, although I did use green paper. I really wanted this to stand out on the card, and I wanted to make sure that I had some green to pick up from this card. So the base of our second card is the Old Olive, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, with a layer of basic black. I'm off the page. 5 3/4, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I'm using I thought the houses were so cute with the old olive background. 5 1/4 by 4. And then all I did was take a 2-inch strip of the paper, the houses, and flipped it over because I just loved these sweet little ghosts and pumpkins. If you wanted to, you could color those pumpkins in, leave your ghosts white. I wouldn't color the bats because I think it would be just too dark. And then I took the banners Pick-a-Punch, and where it's 2 inches wide, it fits in very nicely to either side. And we're just going to feed this completely in. Turn it over to make sure it's to the end, and it is. And just give it a punch. So we can create the banner for the front of the card. Okay. So let's get these layers on. And I think I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to use some glue. So has the fall weather hit anybody yet? We had some pretty nice cooler weather a couple days ago, and today for some reason it seems like it's really stuffy out. Oh, okay. Yes, I will do that, Karen. Thank you. I'll probably get it in the mail on Saturday. I don't think I'll make it to the post office tomorrow, unfortunately. Because not only do we have that phone appointment, I really do have to start cleaning my house. I have neglected it horribly. Okay, so I glued my layers on, and before I glued my layers on, I should have marked this piece because, as you can see, it is too long, and I only want a little bit showing. So you would want to do this before you add your DSP to the front of the card. And I'm just going to make a mark right about there because that's where I want to cut it so it fits the front of my card. Always one step ahead of myself. So let's just line this up, hoping to cut it straight. And we're just going to cut off the top pieces. Now, I did not pop this up on the card. All I did was add some glue, and we're just going to add it to the front. Now I want to make sure that I get this lined up with this cute little house DSP. Sorry about that. My neighbor's putting out their garbage. Tonight's garbage night. Okay, so now I'm using the scallop layering circle, and this one I am actually going to pop up onto the front of the card. See what I do with my dimensionals. Now you'll notice, and I've said this before, but when you do die cut, you will notice a right and a wrong side to your die cuts. Usually the right side, it's nice and rounded off, and when you turn it over, you'll notice you can feel a little ridge on the back. So that's the back of your die cut. So we're just going to add some dimensionals. And I'm just going to I don't want it centered on the card completely. I want it centered right to left, but I want it closer to the top so it fits this banner a little better. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to grab our circle. This is the next size circle in the layering circles. And I can see I have a little spot right there. Now what I did for this one, I took the circle die for the moon that comes in this Frightfully Cute bundle. And I'm actually going to lay this right here on this circle. That's where my moon is going to be. And we're going to grab our blending brush again. And I'm going to grab my Balmy Blue. Let's get some of that off. And I don't want to really come as really close with a dark color around the moon. I want it to be a little lighter around the moon so it looks like it's shining. So when I start my blending, I'm going to start on this side of my circle. And I am going to actually go back and forth with the roundness of the circle or the shape. And that's how I'm going to add my color. And I'm just going to, with some on the brush, I'm just going to go around that circle. That you can use masking tape. You can use a Post-it note. This is masking tape. And I'm just going to continue to add some color, but not as dark around where the moon is. So let's turn it this way. So I want it darker on the edges. And again, you got to build your color up. So, and then just slowly go towards the center. And it looks like I'm picking up something from the mat. And I'm just going to do a little bit more right in here. I think I have to clean my brushes. It's time to clean. Okay, so that looks good. Next, what I did, this is where I want my moon, so I'm going to take off the mask. I am actually going to grab the moon stamp. I didn't even clean it yet. And this time, I'm going to grab some Versamark. And let me just grab my cleaner so I can clean this off a little bit. And I'm going to emboss this moon in white. So we got to use some Versamark. And we're going to try to line it up into that masked circle. And it's off a little bit. But that's okay. I'll show you what I'm going to do to fix it. Let me just grab my embossing paste. Not embossing paste, powder. And I'm just going to add some white. And grab my heat gun. Okay. Balmy Blur. Yes. Balmy Blue. Yes. Is it? Yes. Balmy Blue. It's the Balmy Blue. Okay, so you'll notice now that there is a ridge right around this moon, and I don't really want that ridge around the moon that much. Now that this is, it's cooled down pretty good, I'm going to grab my Balmy Blue again, and I am going to go over the moon and over that ridge just to fill it in a little bit. Now you'll see that there is like a darker line, but it's lighter, and then a dark line, and then the color blue is light here, and then I have it a little darker on this end. And I can actually even make this darker. If you want to see light, you have to show dark. So as scary as, using dark colors goes, if you want to see shadows and highlights, you really do have to have a dark color in order to see the light, believe it or not. Okay, so now that we have our moon, we are going to grab this cute little witch, and hopefully I won't rock her. And I did actually want to put her over the moon, but unfortunately you can't stamp on the embossing. It just does not work. So I guess if I did it in clear, I could have done it. So I'm just going to ink her up. She's a cute little silhouette, and we're going to add her right here to this circle. Put away the memento. Now that she's stamped, I die cut a tree from the glittery paper. I just love this paper. I hope it's probably not going to carry over, but it'll disappear, I'm sure. And we're just going to pop this up, actually. So I'm going to grab my messy little dimensionals, and I am going to cut a little thin strip, and I'm going to cut it right off the side because I'm going to need the whole piece. And with this little strip, I'm actually going to just lay it down right here on the trunk of this tree. Me and my clumsy fingers. But we're going to lay that down there. And add this right here. And if it goes off the circle, it's no matter. I even have the fence posts off. So I just want this to lay right in front of the tree, the moon, I'm sorry. And for this card, I also die cut the sweet little owl, but I didn't like the holes where his eyes were. So I'm just grabbing a little piece of, and I believe this is Bumblebee, and I'm just going to cut out a little square. Let's make sure it's going to fit, and it will. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue over his eyes and then under his eyes. And I'm just going to stick this piece of Bumblebee right behind him. It's just a little square. Actually, it's a rectangle. Just to fill in his eyes and that little beak. Okay? Then I'm going to grab my dimensionals. I'm just going to peel it off using my pokey tool. I want him to sit on one of these branches. So this is going to hold the top of the tree, plus it's going to hold my owl. So let's just put this right about here. And then we can take our owl. Let's get that picked up. There we go. And we're going to stick him right here. Let's just make sure this is straight. And we can stick that owl down. And he looks like he's stuck pretty good. Okay. Next, I believe this is the, no, let me check. I'm not sure which one I grabbed. I want to say the Smoky Slate. And I cut out the little sections of the fence. And as you can see, I didn't poke out all the pieces. I was only going to use one, and then I didn't like the way it looked. So I decided to use the two, and that's why I said the posts do run over the side of the circle, but it's not a bad look. So we're just going to bear with me while I poke these little sections. I don't know why I didn't do it. Okay. And I'm just going to run a little bit of glue on this one fence post, and I'm going to overlay this second piece's fence post right on top. So now we have one nice long fence post. And again, I'm using that strip that I cut from my dimensionals. I am going to adhere this to that same center post. Now, our tree is up on one. Our fence is going to be up on one. So I'm actually going to add just a little glue to our tree. Let's remove this paper. And trying to find a center point on our circle. That's where I am going to lay my fence. I'm just going to lift it up to make sure I have it straight. Just going to move that glue. It will dry clear, so you won't see it. I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. And then we have our fence attached. Thank you. Hello, hello. Hello, Aunt Amy. Is Emma? I don't think Emma is here tonight, Aim. Her and the baby came home today, so I do not believe she is here. They didn't get home till, I think it was late. It was after 3 when they finally did make it home. And she said that she fed Liara and bundled her up and laid her in her crib. So hopefully she'll have a great night. That's the one thing you always wonder. Oh, you are here. Look at you. How's that little one? Did she sleep any length of time, too? Okay, so we're going to make a bow. And I think I cut it too short. But that's what else is new. So let's grab a length of ribbon. You know I always cut them too short. And we're going to hold it between our thumb and our pointer. Go around our 2 fingers and then hold it. We're going to take this tail, go between, go through and under, grab our tail, go through the loop and out towards the right. and pull. Awesome. Let's hope she sleeps for you tonight, lovey. Okay, we're going to trim our tails. And I'm going to grab a glue dot. And we're just going to add this right about here on our fence. Oops, stuck to my finger. And then we're just going to add that bow. Now I grabbed a piece of Mossy Meadow, and this die is also in the, right here in this set, it's called Frightful Tags dies for the Frightfully Cute stamp set. And we are actually going to, of course, stamp Frightfully Cute. And I'm going to use my lined block. Let's see if I can't get it on here pretty straight. And grab our memento again. And we are going to try and stamp this on this tag. You never know. Let's see if I can't get it centered. It's a little crooked. So I'm going to grab a little tiny dimensional, and I'm going to add it to the end. And I'm going to tuck it right here at the knot of the bow. So it's on the circle. Now for the end of the tag, what I need to do is build up 2 dimensionals. So let's take off the paper to 1. And I did get your picture. Oh, good. Good girl. I did get your picture, Aim. I'll check it out after my video. Okay. So we're just going to, like I said, I doubled the dimensionals. Excuse me. And I'm going to put it right under the end of that tag. Let me get a drink. It's getting warm in here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so there is the front of the card. So we're going to jump into the center, and I'll show you what I did. I don't think I did anything special, actually. I just put the witch and some paper. So we have some basic black, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Some basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. I'm using the Ghost DSP, and then a piece of the sparkle. So again, we're going to add our glue. You want it to be able to move a little bit. And I'm putting it right at the bottom and right at the side. So I'm just going to hold it up, push it, hold it up, and push it. Now I know that it's even with this side and the bottom. We're going to grab our black glittered paper, add our glue, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lay this down here, and I'm going to push it down Make sure it's on here, and it's a little crooked. There we go. And then as that's drying, let's grab our little witch. And I think this time I'm going to move her over to the side. I'm going to get it so all of her is on this page, but I'm going to make sure she's over here. So just give her a good stamp, and there I did it again. See that? So this one we'll have to just leave. And then we're just going to adhere this. I'll do this one over because that one's really damaged. And then glue it to the inside. It's one of those kind of nights, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so here's our cards. 2 cute little Halloween cards. Yeah, you need more photos of the baby. Oh, that's a good idea, Elizabeth. I never even thought of that. I have such a bad habit of I rock it. So I don't come straight down. I'll rock it, hoping that I get the whole image, and that's what happens. I rock it, and then I hit this upper edge. I do it almost all the time, but that's a good idea. So I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for joining, and again, all your wonderful messages for about the baby. Again, if you didn't know, Saturdays instead of albums, we've been working on this explosion box, and so far we have 2 waterfall sections with magnets, and then we have this section here where there is a booklet section, and then it opens to the middle section, and this is actually a pocket. We haven't decorated yet. We're just actually putting it together. So this will be happening on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. So if you'd like to join us, I am a little behind. I'll get the dimensions out for everything. And that's what we're making on Saturdays now, an explosion box. So thanks for joining. And I will talk to everybody on Saturday. Have a great night. Bye-bye.